Hello! How are we doing tonight? Awesome. You ready for a great show? Yeah! Good luck, we got one for you. All right. A couple of things before we get going, a few housekeeping notes. Now these are young performers, so we ask that we make sure we turn off all of our noise-making devices. So make sure your cell phones, pagers, small children are in the off and silent position. If you do need to make a phone call, please do so outside in the lobby for the courtesy of those around you. Then come back in and rejoin the fun. We also ask at this time that no flash photography happens during the show. The flashes can be distracting to the young performers. So we ask no flash photography during the show. However, at the very end of the show, we will have staged photos of all the group, the entire cast, the individual groups. You'll take all the flash photos you want to at that time. We just ask not actually during the performance itself. Also, in a case of a water landing, please put your mask on first and then help the young child beside you. Sit back. Oh, somebody got it. Very good. Sit back, relax, and enjoy our production of Oliver Twist! Now, our guest speaker for this evening, our professor.
Good evening, students.
Good evening.
I'm with you. Thank you. Well, so glad to see that you've all arrived on time. I hope you have your pencils sharpened and your notebooks ready. Today, our lecture begins in chapter 4 as we continue our study of Charles Dickens, specifically the story of that unfortunate little orphan, Oliver Twist. Now, did you hear something?
Yeah.
I definitely
Behind
hear
you.
something. Might be a gas leak. This could be
Professor, Professor!
Oh, yes, did you hear it too? Should we have everyone evacuate the room?
No, it was me. It was me.
You?
Yes.
You, feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. But look, this isn't a lecture.
Not a lecture.
No, this is a play. See, now look.
Explains the audience, doesn't it?
Here, see? I want you to read this, okay?
Certainly.
All right.
Oh, it's lovely.
Professor, out loud. My show, would you please?
We will need actors to portray the many characters in Oliver Twist. First, let's start with the fine citizens of London. Along with the Londoners is Mr. Brownlow, a wealthy businessman, and Rose Maylie, Mr. Brownlow's ward. Throughout London, there are many sneaks and scoundrels. This group of misbehaving ruffians is called Fagin's Gang. Fagin, a miserly old man that controls the gang, will be along later. The two oldest boys that lead Fagin's gang are Charlie Bates, a thief, and the Artful Dodger, a skilled pickpocket. And need a demonstration. Very passionate. Follow them. Another scoundrel that works with Fagin is Scary Bill Sikes. Oh, everything about Bill is evil and nasty. See? Everything that is, except for his girlfriend, Nancy. be our heroine later in the story. Creatures of the night control the darkness all over London. Bats swirl and cry through the night sky, while owls hoot and swoop while fluttering all about. Yes. Yes, very good. Now all fly away, return to the darkness. Now, on the outskirts of London stands a crumbling and decrepit group of buildings called the workhouses. Now, men, women, boys, and girls are sent to the workhouses where they can't pay their bills, or are orphans and have no parents to care for them. This is a group of orphan children that live in the workhouse, and they lead very unhappy lives. Now, Mr. Bumble and Mrs. Corney oversee the children in the workhouse. They are very strict and demanding caretakers. Good. How to begin? Oh, yes. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in far-off London, a young woman named Agnes Fleming gave birth to a baby boy in a parish workhouse. Agnes had been in love with a worthless, good-for-nothing man that her parents did not approve of. Trevor Simplescam gambled and drank and spent all of Agnes's money. When Agnes learned she was going to have a baby, Trevor left her without a penny. Soon, Agnes could not pay her bills. A magistrate sent her to an awful parish workhouse to work off her debts. Several months after arriving at the workhouse, the time came for Agnes to have her baby. Unfortunately, it was a very difficult birth, and with no doctor to help save her, Agnes died while bringing her baby into this world. Now, a workhouse matron, Mrs. Corney, took the newborn baby to show Mr. Bumble, the parish beadle. And so begins the life of Oliver Twist.
Oh dear, it's called another orphan. Yes, Mr. Bumble, I'm afraid so. What is his name? He doesn't have a name. Then I will name him. How can he do that? There isn't a single clue to a name in any of his mother's things. What did she leave him? Not much. A shawl, a pair of gloves, and this pretty little locket. Very little of such a life. Then I shall name him like you name the other orphans. Oh yes, in alphabetical order, of course. Last one we name was Swubbles. This one we give it a T. Timmy Twist. Twist? Yes, Twist. Oliver Twist. I will go find a place for Oliver. And I'll put his mother's belongings in a safe place. Ah!
Now, since Mr. Bumble and Mrs. Corney are in the business of running a workhouse and not in the business of being detectives, they missed a very large clue hidden inside the gold locket. If they had only looked inside, they would have found a beautiful picture of Agnes Fleming, Oliver's mother, and an engraving of a stately home simply labeled Pentonville. What a shame for Oliver indeed. Now, Oliver Twist was raised in the parish workhouse system. We now find Oliver on his 9th birthday, a pale, thin child, somewhat small in stature and decidedly small in circumference, but nature or inheritance had implanted a good, sturdy spirit in him.
Oliver was put before the board, a group of 10 fat men in charge of the workhouse affairs. And Mr. Bumble related the impious and profane offense of asking for more that Oliver just committed. So the board decided that Oliver's punishment should be immediate confinement. And they would offer a £5 reward for anyone who was willing to take the troublesome lad away as an apprentice.
Board for sale! Board for sale! Do you know how to milk a cow? No. Well, I do now. fresh fruit? What's fresh fruit? Aren't you cute? Do you know how to clean a fish? Ew, no! Easy, squish, squish. Do you like pretty flowers? Thanks for the shower. Just the right size. But not the right age. Too young. Too bad. Do you like to read? I don't know how to read. Then you're not horny. Could you walk softly and while it be hot? Yes, I can do that. Good, I'll take them.
So Mr. Bumble showed Oliver to the undertaker, man who ran funerals and buried dead people. Well, Oliver's job was to walk in front of the hearse, carrying a large black plume, looking very solemn and sad. Did his job very well for a few weeks, till the undertaker's bully of a son became jealous of Oliver. He locked him in a coffin and beat him up. Oh, well, after a few hours he let him out, but he laughed at the tears in Oliver's eyes. Oliver was very unhappy living with the undertaker's family, so he decided to run away. So while the undertaker's family slept, Oliver dressed up in all of his clothes and ran away into the streets of London.
Come buy some milk and eggs for me. Come buy fresh fruit right from the tree. Come buy some fish fresh from the sea. Come buy some flies nuts from Leatherley. For all who read, I have fine books.
A lovely day to stroll the streets
And smell the flowers and eat some sweets. In London town, the world is bright.
The bobbies keep us safe in sight.
We keep the peace, no trouble here. With us around, there's nothing to fear.
Oh, lovely day in old London town, out here on the streets where miles around. You can buy apples fresh from the tree. There's plenty to do and plenty to see. Here on the streets, the people are laughing, waving hello to their friends passing by. The cooks are selling flowers and milk. All to shout, come by, come by. All to shout, please won't you come by? Oh, lovely day in old London town. Out here on the street, no one wears a frown. You can buy candy, shortbread, and books. There's plenty to do, just come have a look. Here on the streets, the people are laughing, waving hello to their friends passing by. The vendors are selling flowers and milk. All you shout, come by, come by. All you shout, please won't you come by? Can I have one of those apples, sir?
You certainly can.
Thank you. Going to buy that.
Hello, my good fellow.
Hello, sir.
I don't think I've had the pleasure of your acquaintance.
No, sir, I've never been to London before.
You don't say. Got any lodgings?
No,
Got any money?
no.
Don't worry. I know a respectable old gentleman that'll give you lodging for free. Just stick with me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You don't need to call me sir. My name's Jack Dawkins, but my friends call me the Dodger, the artful Dodger. So what do they call you?
My name is Oliver Twist, sir. I mean, Mr. Dodger.
All right then. Now we're mates, and you're not alone in London anymore.
Goodbye, goodbye. Yes, it can be quite nerve-wracking here on the streets of London. Well, the Dodger scudded off at a rapid pace, directing Oliver to follow closely at his heels. And although Oliver had enough to occupy his time just trying to keep up with the Dodger, he couldn't help but taking a few hasty glances from side to side. Now, a dirtier, more wretched place he had never seen. Oh, the air was filled with filthy odors. The street itself was very muddy, hard to follow. Oliver was just considering whether or not he should run away when the Dodger grabbed him by the elbow, pulled him into a doorway, and down a large passageway to a rickety flight of stairs. And that was where Fagin and his gang of thieves were sometimes hiding out. They called it Fagin's Den back at those times. It was a place where no one wanted to be. It was very seedy and definitely a different part of London altogether.
Hey, I live here, eh?
Sorry.
Sleeping Beauties, wide awake, Miss Cassidy. For goodness sake.
Hey, the Dodgers company's got somebody with them.
Oh, do you hear that, my dears? The Dodgers bringing company. So, let's be on our best behavior, eh?
We didn't need another bride around here, Fagin.
I think the more the merrier.
Oh, Nancy's right, Bill. It is the more the merrier. Right, my dears?
That's right, Fagin. The more the merrier.
Hello, Oliver. This is Fagin. Fagin, this is Mr. Oliver Twist.
Oh, we are very glad to see you, Oliver. Very. Dodger, make a place for Oliver, eh? Ah, you're staring at all the pocket handkerchiefs, eh, my dear? There are a good number of them, ain't there? But we just hung them out from the wash. That's all, Oliver, that's all. All right. Off to bed, lads. You know you need your rest to be at your best for work tomorrow. Go on. Oliver, why don't you find a nice place to sleep? Right there. Oliver? Oh, Oliver! Creatures of the night, bring me my treasures! You! Ah, yes. Well?
We are creatures of the night, in the dark and out of sight. Hiding Fagin's treasure chest, flying is what we do best.
Fagin's treasure to behold, strings of pearls and chains of gold. In the black and inky sky, we search for diamond.
We like things shiny and bright.
That glitter and glow in the pale moonlight.
Good night.
Sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. Ha 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 ha.
Wonderful, my night creatures now. Off you go, fly away, and return to the darkness.
What was that?
What was what? What do you watch me for? Why are you awake? What have you seen? Speak out, boy. Quick, quick, for your life.
I just woke up. I'm sorry if I disturbed you.
You were not awake an hour ago?
No, indeed.
Are you sure?
Upon my word, I was not, sir.
Oh, tush, tush, my dear. Of course I knew that, my dear. I only tried to frighten you. You're a brave boy, Oliver. Did you see any of these pretty things?
Yes, sir.
They're mine, Oliver. My little property. All I have to live upon in the old age. You know, the folks call me a miser, my dear. Yes, a miser that's greedy and never shares his wealth. Only a miser, that's all. Well, you go back to sleep. We shall see you in the morning.
Oliver was so tired he slept very late the next morning. And while he slept, the other boys in Vega's gang, they began their work out in the streets of London. Oliver awoke near lunchtime and began to fold the clean pocket handkerchiefs for lack of something better to do.
Oh, good to see you up, Oliver. Did you have a good rest, my dear? You have slept half the day away.
Yes, sir, Mr. Fagin. I was very tired. I folded these handkerchiefs for you.
Oh, thank you, Oliver. Thank you. Oh, look. The other boys are returning from their morning work. Hello, Bill.
Wide awake this half the day. We're gonna sing. Let's walk home to join our room. We'll show you how. It's no big thing.
All right, line up so I can inspect your work, my dears. I hope you've all been hard at work.
Hard. As nails.
Right, then show me what you've got.
I've got a watch. Keeps perfect time.
Ooh.
A lovely fineness ring of mine.
Mm-hmm.
A gold of gold paper hat.
Yes.
A comfortable
Oh.
a necklace made of beautiful gold.
Mm-hmm.
A doll with her little girl. I got this handsome knife and sheath.
Ah.
All I got is this set of shoes.
Well, you've all done very well. Yes, very nice work indeed. We all could teach young Oliver such fine work, couldn't we? Shall we, Oliver, eh?
Yes, sir. I would like that very much.
It's time for a little bit of fun, my dears. Let's show Oliver the little game that we like to play. There you are. Very nice. Yes.
Get Fagin ready so we can start. You'll need this.
All right.
And this.
Yes.
And this.
Thank you.
And this.
Lovely.
Hey, now you take it all away.
Be quick.
What?
Don't slip.
Oh.
It's like a trick.
What?
If you don't trip.
Oh, what do you say, my dears? Should Oliver give it a try?
Go ahead. Give it a try.
Oliver, come here. Oliver, is my handkerchief hanging out of my back pocket?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Well, see if you can take it away without my feeling it as you saw them do. Oh, left something over this way. Oh, Bill, forgot to tell you. Oh, no, I like much better. Is it gone?
Here it is, sir.
Oh, Oliver's a very clever boy, isn't he, my dears?
Oh, yes, very clever.
Come, boys, gather here with me, and we can begin teaching Oliver everything we know so that he can join our gang. Watch us closely, simple movements, nothing fancy. You can learn the skills of this great life.
Keep it hopping, never stopping. Lift a hanky, don't be cranky. Pick a pocket, grab a locket. Hands are faster than the master. Keep it hopping, never stopping. Lift a hanky, don't be cranky. Pick a pocket, grab a locket, go!
Come join in our little gang, and you can begin working Oliver. All the world is yours once you lighten the man's load. Watch us closely, simple movements, nothing fancy. You can learn the skills of our great life.
Keep it hopping, never stopping. Lift a hanky, don't be cranky. Pick a pocket, grab a locket. Hands are faster than the master. Keep it hopping, never stopping. Lift a hanky, don't be cranky. Pick a pocket, grab a locket, go!
All right, that's enough fun for now. You need to get back to work.
Can I go to work too, sir?
You can go with us, Fagin.
Yeah, go bus. You don't need to go out, Oliver. You have plenty of chores to do around here.
The brat should learn to earn his keep.
Oh. Well, you can go with the Dodger and Charlie. Make them your models, my dear. Do everything they bid you and take their advice in all matters, especially the Dodger. Oh, yes, he'll be a great man himself and will make you one too if you take pattern by him. Now go on. Off you go.
Here on the streets,
The people are laughing, waving hello to their friends passing by.
the
Vendors are selling flowers and milk, all to shout, come by, all to shout, please won't you come by?
Oliver was anxious to be actively employed, and was pleased when the old gentleman sent him out under the joint guardianship of Charlie Bates and the Dodger. The three boys sallied out with Oliver in the middle, wondering what branch of manufacturing he would be instructed in first. The pace at which they went was such a lazy saunter that Oliver soon began to think that the boys were going to deceive the old gentleman by not going to work at all. And then they seemed to exhibit some very loose notions regarding the rights of property by pilfering various onions and apples and stuffing them in their surprisingly large coat pockets. And then there was the surprising change of behavior on the part of the Dodger.
What's the matter?
Hush, see that old gentleman at the bookseller?
Yes, I see him. He'll do nicely.
The two boys walked stealthily across the road and slumped closely behind the old gentleman. Oliver followed a few paces behind, looking on in silent amazement. The gentleman was reading away as if he were in his elbow chair in his own study. Oliver was horrified to see the Dodger plunge his hand into the gentleman's pocket and pull out a fine handkerchief, and then hand it to Charlie Bates. And then watch as they both ran away at top speed. For a moment, Oliver was paralyzed with fear. And then in an instant, he had solved the mystery of Fagin and the handkerchiefs and the watches and the jewels. And then, confused and frightened, Oliver took off as fast as he could lay his feet to the ground.
Stop, thief! Stop that boy! Get him! Grab him! Hold him! Nab him! Don't let him get away! He went that way! Stop him in the block! Oh my God!
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Did you see? Oh, I hope they catch someone. Oh, my.
I hope the boy's okay.
Oh, yes. Well, I hope that he catches someone.
somewhat.
Oh, let's see. Oh, they caught him.
Is this the boy? Yes, I'm afraid it is. It wasn't me. It was two other boys. They're here somewhere. No, they ain't.
Don't hurt him. Are you the party that's been robbed, sir?
Yes, I am, but I'm not sure this is the boy. I'd rather not press charges.
Too late. You must go before the magistrate.
As they proceeded to the courthouse to put Oliver in front of the magistrate, Mr. Brownlow felt as rueful as Oliver looked. It was something that was causing Mr. Brownlow a lot of distress. You see, it had to do with the look on Oliver's face. Mr. Brownlow was not sure, but he thought that perhaps he had seen that look somewhere before.
Here comes the Dodger and Charlie.
And the Braddock with them.
Why, how's this? There's only two of them? Where's the third? They can't have got in trouble. Where is Oliver, you young hounds? Where's the boy? What has become of the boy? Speak out or I will throttle you. Will you speak?
When the traps have got him and that's it.
So let go.
Oh,
Well, somebody needs to go to the magistrate and find out what's been done with the boy.
oh, Nancy, my dear. What do you say?
That won't do, so it's no use trying to play again.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I got go.
Oh, why, you're just the very person for it, my dear. Why, nobody about here knows anything about you. But first, let's fix you up, and to look more respectable. Yes, oh, thank you. All right, here we are. Here are your gloves. And a shawl. And a bonnet. And of course, a pretty little bag. Now, let's hear a little something, shall we?
Oh, my poor, dear, sweet, innocent little brother. Oh, do have pity and tell me what's been done with the dear boy. Off I go.
She is a clever girl. You would do well to follow her example. Nancy is a clever girl, and you boys can learn something new from her. Everything she does includes mighty heart and soul. Watch her closely, simple movements, nothing fancy. We can learn new skills in our great life.
Keep it hopping, never stopping. Lift your hanky, don't be cranky. Pick a pocket, grab a locket. Hands are faster than the master. Keep it hopping, never stopping. Lift your hanky, don't be cranky. Pick a pocket, grab a locket, go!
Where's the boy?
He's been taken by the gentleman.
Taken where? By what gentleman?
He was taken to the magistrate, and he had a fainting fit. Then there was witness that proved he was innocent. Then the gentleman that was robbed took him away to his home in Pentonville.
We must know where he is, my dears. He must be found. Charlie! Charlie! Do nothing but skulk about till you bring home news of him. Nancy, I must have him found. I trust to you, my dear, to you and the Dodger for everything.
Is he to be kidnapped?
Yes, yes. Where you lay hands on him, find him out, that's all. I'll know what to do next, never fear. You'll know where to find me. Now go on, off you go.
Mr. Brownlow was appalled by the treatment that Oliver had been given by the authorities, and he felt personally responsible for his weakened condition. So, Mr. Brownlow declared that he would take Oliver to his home, and there he would give him the food and the rest that he so desperately needed.
Mr. Bedwin, why are you taking down the picture of the beautiful lady?
Oh, well, child, it has been taken down because Mr. Brownlow felt that as it seemed to worry you, that perhaps it was preventing you from getting well, you know.
It didn't worry me, sir. I like to look at it.
Well, You get as well as fast as ever you can, and then it shall be hung up again. There, I promise you that. Now let's talk of something else.
It's so nice inside a happy home where people care for you. When you feel fine or when you're down, you always know someone's around for you. Home is the place where you can go, no matter what. You always know somebody cares. It's so nice inside a happy home where people care for you. When you feel fine or when you're down, you always know someone's around for you. Home is the place you call your own, a quiet place, your safety zone, with those who care. It's so nice inside a happy home where people care for you. When you feel fine or when you're down, you always know someone's around for you. Home is the place you can feel free. Let down your guard, just be at ease with those who care. It's so very, 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 very nice inside a happy home where people care so much for you.
Rose, would you be a dear and take Oliver to his room?
Come along, Oliver. I'll get you some tea and teach you cricket.
That's very nice of you, Rose.
It's no problem. He's such a sweet boy. It's like having my own little brother. Thank you, Rose. You're everything I imagined a big sister to be.
Ah, those were happy days, those of Oliver's recovery. Everything was so quiet and neat and orderly. And everyone was kind and gentle. And that, after the noise and turbulence in the midst of which he had always lived, well, to Oliver it was like heaven itself. Well, he was no sooner strong enough to put his own clothes on properly than Mr. Brownlow sent a message down to Oliver that he would like to see him in his study, and there he would like to talk to him for a little while.
Hello, Oliver. I'd like to talk to you. Pay great attention to what you're going to say. I'm sure you'll understand.
Oh, don't tell me you're going to send me away. Oh, please don't send me back to that wretched place.
No, it's nothing like that. Just, I need to ask you a favor.
Yes, sir. Anything, sir.
I need to return some books to the bookseller. Do you remember where that is?
Yes, sir.
Here are the books and £5 note for I owe. They'll give you a 10 shilling change to bring back.
Yes, sir. You can trust me.
Very good, Oliver. See you at the door.
Gone for so long now. He should have been home over an hour ago.
I have an awful feeling that something terrible has happened to him.
Yes, I agree.
Whatever shall we do?
Oh, Rose is right. We must do something.
Yes, Mr. Bedwood, you go to the police and Rose and I will go to a wretched workhouse.
Maybe the police found him and took him back there.
Oh, good idea. Meanwhile, Oliver Twist, little dreamer that he was almost all the way to the bookstall when he took a wrong turn down an alleyway, not realizing his mistake until he was halfway down it, and realizing that it must lead in the right direction, just continued forward. Little did he know that he had been watched for several days, and this small mistake was all that Charlie Bates, the Dodger, and Nancy needed to enact their plan. So Oliver just marched along with his books under his arms.
Hello, Oliver. How have you been?
Fine, thank you. You look fine too in your new fancy clothes. Let go of me. Can't do that.
Come on with us.
Help! Help!
here. Well, according to Mr. Brownlow's plan, action was taken to find our dear little Oliver. Unfortunately, neither report of him had turned up at the police station, nor had he returned to the workhouse. However, Mr. Brownlow and Rose had uncovered information now that made his recovery even more imperative than ever before.
Calm yourself, my dear.
Calm myself, all calm in.
Oh, why, yes, Bill. Making a big fuss won't bring the boy back any sooner.
Well, you hope they bring him back, the old goat, or else we'll all hang.
Relax, Bill, relax. I've sent the Dodger and Nancy out to get him. They'll have him back in no time.
Hey, Fagin, we found him.
We brought Oliver back.
But you might not recognize him in his new fancy clothes.
Oh, delighted to see you looking so well, Oliver. The Dodger shall get you another suit, but few you shall spoil this Sunday one. Now, why didn't you write, my dear, and tell us you were coming? We'd have had something warm for supper. Ooh.
I'll take that.
Oh, no, Bill. You shall have the books.
Well, if it ain't mine, I'll give it to Lizzie. You keep the books. I don't care.
Oh. Fair enough. I'm sure I could get quite a lot for books as beautiful as these.
You can keep me here the rest of my life, but please send back the books and the money. The kind gentleman will think I've stolen them.
Boy is right. You're right, Oliver, you're right. They will think you have stolen them. Oh, it couldn't have happened better if we planned it ourselves.
What of us now?
We'll make a real successful man of you.
And I'll take you on your first job. Let him be.
What's the matter, Nancy, my dear? Have you gone soft?
Let him be. Can't you see? He's not like us. Just let him be. The boy should learn to earn his keep. Now hush up. I won't hush it too. Let him be. I'll let him be, and I'll give you what for. Ah!
So emotional. That is the worst of having to deal with women. But they're clever, and we can't get on without them. Come on, let's go.
Sad to say that Fagin was right. Nancy had a big heart and a soft spot in it for the boys in Fagin's gang. Now she knew that that Oliver didn't fit in from the moment that Dodger first introduced him. But her loyalty to Bill and to Fagin had kept her from acting before now. But her conscience could not let her wait anymore. Now, even though it was very dangerous for Nancy to betray Bill, she ran right to Mr. Brownlow as her only hope. And they came up with a plan to meet at London Bridge at 9 o'clock, and there to steal Oliver away from Bill and the rest of the gang before they could make him join their life of crime.
Bill said he wanted to meet us here with Oliver at 9 o'clock.
We still have a few minutes to wait.
Well then spread out, my dears. See if there are any pockets that need a little cleaning out. Oliver and I will wait just inside this fine little drinking establishment. Perhaps I can wet me whistle while we wait. Come on.
Oh, Mr. Brownlow! What is Oliver? Oliver is to meet a man here any time now. You must hide in the shadows and wait. Please wait, we must have Derek Harvest man.
Bill? Bill, I brought the boy. Are you sure you want to do this job tonight?
Sure.
Woo!
Why not? Is there something wrong?
Just get the odd feeling that something's just not right.
Ready, Oliver, for your first profession? To tell you the truth, I'd rather not go anywhere with you.
Ha ha ha! You're going whether you want to or not.
Hello, Bill.
Fancy meeting you here.
Hello, Oliver.
Ready for your big night.
Hello, Fagin. To wet your whistle.
Isn't this a lovely party? It's very nice to be out and about.
Enough already, you must be off.
You better try and take Oliver now, or you'll never see him again.
Stop your arm and release that boy.
Police, come quick! Arrest this kidnapper and gang of thieves!
Run, boys, run! It's everyone for themselves. Keep your mouths closed and forget you ever knew me. Oh.
They went this way. They went that way. Over here. Over there. You better run faster, or you won't catch them. Topsy turvy goes to town.
No, Dodger, you almost scared the life out of me.
Nothing will take the life out of you, Fagin, except the hangman's noose.
No, Dodger. What do you say we stick together, eh? We slip out of old London town.
I hear Manchester is lovely this time of year.
Lovely. Let's take our business there and forget all this running around,
We've been chasing this scoundrel Bill Sykes for weeks, and we caught him running with this boy.
Release that boy to me. He's my nephew.
Are you my uncle? Yes, Oliver, and I'm your cousin. I have a family. I'm not an orphan anymore.
This young lady helped us find him.
She should not be punished with the rest of the gang.
Come on.
Come along quietly, Bill, and don't give us any trouble.
And so Fagin and the Dodger left London behind, leaving Bill and the rest of the gang to be taken to jail. And so Oliver was able to live happily ever after with his long-lost family.
Friends and family join together as they're working or at play. Lift your voices and be joyful as we end this happy day. Come together in celebration, sharing in friendship all around. Joining hands and joining voices and a joyful happy sound. Friends and family join together as they're working or at play. Lift your voices and be joyful as we end this happy day. Come together in celebration, sharing in friendship all around. Joining hands and joining voices in a joyful happy sound.
Thank you very much for coming out and supporting this young cast. We do appreciate all the support that we've gotten this week.